John, come on in, John. How are you doing today, my friend?
I'm wonderful, Roberto. How have you been?
Excellent, excellent. Talk to me, John.
Well, you've heard the old adage, you can lead a horse to water.
Yes.
I think that is kind of sums up the consumption of media by the American people. I hate to say this, but I think all kinds of people have a framework or a narrative of what news they are willing to listen to.
Right.
And for the purpose of this conversation, we can focus on the radio. Obviously, that's the medium in which you're currently dealing. I'm a conservative, and I listen to a lot of AM talk, corporate-inspired radio. And by the same token, I listen to you and some of the other programs on your station.
Right.
And listening to your shows and other shows, Jeff Berg, I can pretty much write you off a pretty good list of callers that are going to call in, myself included, for example. The same callers every time, with similar political views. The same on the other stations, the AM, the corporate. So it's all well and good to have all this citizen journalism. The problem that I see is that people have framed narratives in their head, and they're unwilling to go outside of their comfort zone to allow themselves to be inspired in any other different way.
Now, John, I want to stop you right there because here you are, a conservative. You listen to all sides, right? Yep. And here is, and for those of us who what we call I'm in another organization called coffeepartyusa.com, coffeepartyusa.com, and one of the things that we do is we believe in cross-pollination. In other words, we believe that people have to do exactly what you're saying they're not doing, because that's the only way we can get an exchange of ideas. And we're not asking anybody to change their culture. We're not asking anybody to change their necessarily their point of view. We're asking them where is their intersectionality that we can actually function. I mean, you're a conservative. I can bet you we can sit down and have a cup of coffee and spend a whole day together and have fun. And you're still going to believe in small government, and I'm still going to believe in large government. And that's fine. We're going to meet somewhere in the middle. We have to teach people how to get there. What we've allowed people to do is polarize each other in such a manner that we can't even make a compromise. Well, John wants government real small. John, I want government that is massive enough so that corporations cannot take control. You want corporations to have more control. Okay, let's see where we negotiate to get these types of issues handled. None of us are going to leave with 100% of what we want, but we're going to leave with something that's better than nothing on each side.
Absolutely, and I agree with that. As a matter of fact, I like to think that myself and you and the people that you're affiliated with, for the most part, we're the exception, not the rule. And what I'm saying,
yes, but let me stop you there, John. And what I'm saying is, we are the exception, not the rule, because enough Johns. Okay, right now, what I am doing on air, what I'm doing with my blog is I am as liberal. In fact, I did the liberal test couple days ago, and I didn't realize, how liberal I was. She wants to say something. Let me hear what you want to say.
That is hilarious. I believe it. I believe it.
I was, when you have a meter and the meter is panning to the left, my stuff was like hitting the left and wanting to go even further left than left, But anyhow, but the thing about it is I'm one of those lefties that love to entertain conversation and talk about compromise and all that kind of stuff. And I put my actions and my mouth where through these values. And I'm saying to a person like you, John, and other conservatives out there that are thinking conservatives, you have to be a part of the game. And since you have a following, since you have people that follow you, John, you do. You have to be engaged as well. What I find is this, okay? You have guys like myself, and it's mostly on the liberal sides that I find. Liberals are generally... You have some that are just as what I call just as bad as the right fringe. Okay, I agree with that. But a lot of us though try to engage and compromise, etc., etc., etc. I find very few on the right side, your side, that would do that. And I think one of the reasons why is enough of you aren't out there pushing your people, putting them into a less comfortable zone. You'll hear people talk about liberals. You're always giving in, because what happens is, a lot of times you'll find these folks are willing to engage. I'm saying to you, John, where you said we're the exception, you have to be a part of not making that the exception.
Oh, I agree. I absolutely agree with you, Eduardo. Trust me. I like to think that even in my conversation with like-minded individuals, that I show a more middle-of-the-road propensity for trying to find a solution rather than just blaming it all on the other side.
Right.
Because, I mean, the nature of my business is I've just come to believe in people, and people have to come together to make things happen.
Yes.
But we also have to learn to step away and not be afraid to step out of our core beliefs. And, I think, for example, going back to what you said earlier, you and I could spend a day together, have lunch, have coffee, and probably find a great deal of commonality.
Absolutely. No doubt.
I could probably not say the same for myself and Mr. Berg.
You know what? I think people have to be careful how things come across on air and how people are, whereas on air, I try to be, something that I always say, right? I always say that I want people to listen to me. So therefore I have to adjust myself so that people listen.
But you're always a nice guy.
But again, because I want folks to listen.
Who you are.
But I try, right? So I mean, I think most, and believe it or not, I do think most people are nice folks. I speak to some people that one would think they're crazy out there in Kingwood, right? And people say, you're a friend with that guy? And it's like, yeah, the Tea Party guys are my buddies. I mean, we go out to the festivals and they will come around. I mean, you had the Tea Party ladies bringing me cookies in the mornings at a Democratic tent. They found, so yeah, we can have fun. There's not a problem. But anyway, so John, I want to go to the other call, but I like, first of all, I want you to keep calling. And not only want you to keep calling, I want you to engage your folk.
I do. Don't get me wrong. I'm willing to say that there's give and take on both sides of the aisle that needs to happen.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
And like I said, there's a reason why I tune into you every week, and I do get on your website. I'm not a Facebook person. I follow you on Twitter.
Great.
I mean, I think there is value in what you have to say on a lot of things. And
well, thank you.
I do, and I'll be the first to say that. Now, and I know you want to get to the other caller, but I will say this. I do listen to the other AM main stations, and I will tell you this. Some of the ideas that people on your side of the aisle have about some of the local jocks, if you actually knew them like I did and really got to their core beliefs, you'd actually find that you have more in common with them as well.
That is interesting because I found that out with, I don't remember who the guy was, and it was like, I tell you what is a good thing to take, and I'm going to ask you to do this. And if you go to my, you don't do Facebook, but so drop me a line at egberto@egbertowillies.com because I want to send you a test. I would love to see how you come out on that test. A test that kind of say what your proclivities for liberalism, conservative, what's that other thing? Libertarianism, right? Or what is not fascism, but one onto authoritarianism. So I would love to see where you fall on that chart based on that thing. Because let me tell you what happened. I'm coming to the other calls in a minute, folks, but I just want to tell John this here. And folks, 713-526-5738 still have lines open. But here's the deal, John. A guy or a lady that I was flying to Oregon for one of our meetings, and there's this lady that I was sitting next to, and we were talking, and we got into talking and all of that sort of stuff. And by the end of the flight, she was telling me how conservative she was, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I haven't heard from her in a long time, and I got a Facebook message from her 2 days ago. She took the test. And what was interesting is on the plane, while she was telling me how conservative she was, and we were talking issues, at the end of the ride, I said, my friend, you have more liberal proclivities than you might believe. In fact, you are a liberal. And she said, absolutely not. She took a test, and it's because of her that I took the test. She took the test and came out 70-something% liberal based on the answers that she gave to these different issues. So out of the blue, she drops me a line. Berto, I guess you were right. I'm a liberal.
Well, hey, I'll be happy to take it and send it to you.
No problem, my friend. Thanks for calling. Keep listening. Share the station. Tell other folks to listen and let them know that there are people here that want to listen and converse. Okay, buddy?
Yes, sir. You take care.
Have a good one now.